Welcome to the City of Douglas Mayor and Commission. This will serve as the work session for December 23rd, 2024. And as always, we will have our city manager to lead us through it. Mr. City Manager.
Mayor and Council, I hope you are well. Let's get started here. The first one's item 1, found on page 4, review of the December 12th, 2024 meeting minutes.
Mr. Taylor.
Consent.
Ms. McNeil.
Yes, sir, consent.
Ms. Moore.
I'll review later.
Review later.
I didn't get a chance to finish reading all the stuff.
Okay. Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
I'm good with it, Mayor.
Mr. Paul. Consent. Mr. Bailey. We have to carry that forward. That was not unanimous.
Oh, it has to be unanimous not to carry it forward?
We carry it forward to the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are in the dissent, that means that it's still 6-1. It still goes forward.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so we'll just go forward and we'll vote on it as far as.
Can I change my vote when we get to it if I want to and I've read it?
Yes,
Okay, cool.
of course.
All right, fine.
Next
Sorry.
item?
Sorry.
Next
All right.
item?
Next item's item 2, found on page 16, discuss and hold a public hearing for the lot size variance request for vacant parcels located off of Old Bell Lake Road, Georgia.
Good evening. We received an application from Mr. Terry Harrell for a variance on the property, the parcel 0117C037, located off the Bell Lake Road and Miller Road. The request for the variance is, the zoning is currently R12. That means minimum lot size 12,000, can build a minimum home, heating and cool, 1,200 square feet. What they're asking for the variance is to allow them a 9,000 square foot lot, and they would build a 1,200 minimum square feet structure. Staff's report on this is up to the Mayor and Commission, which way you all want to go with this tonight, but this will be a public hearing during the regular meeting.
Okay, before we get started, where's the city attorney?
He's
The
not
city attorney.
He's not here.
Before we go into any discussion, I actually live in this community, so I don't have any stake in it or anything like that. But I think that it needs to be crystal clear that I live approximately one house down from this vacant lot. So if the city attorney is not here, I don't have any financial gain or anything like that in this. So I don't know if that would be a conflict of interest, or I just wanted to state that. Anybody have any questions on the council about what I just said?
I mean, you have no business interest.
No, I do not.
Not related to anybody involved in it, right?
No, I am not.
I don't think it'll affect
It's not a-
you know. You just a
It's not a
residential.
conflict.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you just,
And,
you just live in that
Put
area.
that in the minutes if you don't want
Okay,
to.
let's see what happens. All right. So a few months ago, this council, we had the opportunity to have something similar to this in another neighborhood. And we wanted to protect the character and identity of that neighborhood. 9,000 square feet is a very small lot. It's a very small lot. The current lot that I live on, which is, like I say, a house away, if I tore my house down, I could put 4.5 houses there. There's one house there now. I think that disturbs the character of the house, of that area. 1,200 square foot and 12,000 has been amenable in the past. And this is one of the things I'll say about this here, is that our council and the zoning board, we have an opportunity to create environments. And I say this right here, where are the liquor stores? Where are the convenience stores? Where is the housing authority? they are only allowed in certain parts of the community. Unfortunately, some of those areas where these serve as a catalyst bring about a deterioration of the community. So my thoughts are, we want to make sure that we continue as we did a few months ago to protect the character of that community. So I'll lead off with the Mayor Pro Tem. Your thoughts?
So, as it stands right now, it's 12,000 square foot per
Yes.
lot, and that's how it's zoned?
Yes, sir, R12.
All right, and that's either R12 or R15 is what majority or all of our housing areas in the city of Douglas?
Well, you have R15, R12, you have RM, which is mixed, you have neighborhood commercial, neighborhood professional.
And so we're going from about a quarter of an acre lots down to less than that is basically what that means?
Right, if you all approve the variance, they'll be able to build, estimate like 4 homes per acre versus 3 homes,
Gotcha.
if that put it in perspective.
That's all the questions I have.
Mr. Paul?
I don't have any questions.
Mr. Bailey?
And as it sits right now, how many homes were they proposing to put on this lot? Is all this acreage buildable?
On the site plan that I received at my office, there was 110 units,
And is that based on?
and that's 32, almost 33 acres.
Is that based on the 12,000 square foot lot or the 9,000 square foot lot?
I think, are y'all with this, agenda? No, sorry. Best of my knowledge, that's based on the 9,000.
And how many would they put on there with the 12,000?
Well, I didn't calculate that.
I mean, did
It would be 3 per acre.
That's what,
So-
yeah, 3 per acre, yeah,
A
or
90
one less per
99,
acre.
Cut it down.
It's 30
some.
acres.
Cut it down, yes, sir.
Be 30 less houses.
No further questions.
Commissioner Moore?
Question or comment? Either one?
Yeah, either one.
I don't have a problem with going, we don't have enough housing. I've had a lot of people, we're talking about housing on this property, correct?
Yes.
We don't have enough housing, and one of the things I've been confronted with is people call me looking for places to stay. We don't have affordable housing. My understanding, if I'm not mistaken, when the mayor built those homes over there, did that variance change? Is those houses 12,000 or they're 9,000?
Which homes?
The ones that are over there by Bryan Street?
Bryan Street?
That's a
Oh,
a
no,
duplex.
you're talking about
Those-
the 6 houses?
Yeah.
Those are 1,300 square feet.
They 1,300 square, they look smaller, like you can reach out into.
They're actually.
They really are? Okay.
Yeah, those are duplexes.
Okay, well, my-
Sixplex.
Okay, my thing about I would like to go look at and see what a 9,000 look like, but I do know that everybody don't need a mansion. And I do know that we're building industry and bringing people here with no place for them to stay. And the other problem we got is we don't have enough public transportation to get them back into their jobs. So I don't have a problem with saying yes to the variant. Even though I'm new and I'm just one voice, I feel that it would be okay.
Mrs. Neal?
Well, I speak for a lot of people here too, I think. And we all know the storms changed things. We hear things we didn't always hear at our neighbor's house. We hear, the noise from the trains to whatever noise travels. And the closer people are in proximity here with that. And of course, 9,000 square feet is the size of the lot, if I understand it correctly. Not the size of the house or whatever, but it's the size of the lot. And it would be very, very close and very, very tight, I think. But there again, I have reservations.
Mr. Taylor?
I would just like to say, I would like to see it stay the same as the R12 with the 12,000 square feet due to the surrounding areas and the houses that are already there, you know, everything. So, I would like for it to remain the same as it's on R12 with 12,000 square feet.
Okay. So we have to carry that forward because we have to hold
Public hearing.
public hearing.
Yes, sir.
Also, Commissioner Moore, as far as the housing, I think that the next, there's one in here that the city is actually addressing the housing.
Okay,
There are two projects. There's one on Lupo, 126 apartments.
okay.
And then I think there's one coming before the council tonight that's 100 houses that are, so the survey that was done about 2 years ago said that the city of Douglas needs approximately 200 units, not 200, 400 units. So we're well on the way towards that. So the housing issue is, we figure the next 18 months is probably not gonna be an issue.
I think it will be, but I understand you being optimistic.
Right.
We're still recovering from Helene, and we got houses that are up that are not prepared yet for people that are livable. So I think we gotta handle what we got and then move forward with the new stuff. But I understand what you're saying. I love optimism.
All right, good deal. Next item.
All right, next item's item 3, found on page 23, hold a second reading and public hearing to amend the local ordinance regarding the position of city marshal and code enforcement division of the city of Douglas, Georgia.
This will be the second reading tonight. Don't know if you all have any questions or what have you, but it'll go forward to the next agenda item. But basically, just a reminder, repealing back any law enforcement agencies, any arrest powers that comes with a law enforcement agency, changing from marshal to code enforcement division.
Mr. Taylor,
Move forward.
move forward. Ms. McNeil,
Yes, sir, move forward.
Ms. Moore,
I'm gonna say move forward.
okay. Move forward. Carry forward. Mr. Bailey, good deal. Next item.
All right, next item's item 4, found on page 29. This item deals with a piece of parcel that we have, what we call a legal non-conforming use. And tonight, we're going to be to discuss and hold a first reading of rezoning petition for 2002 and 2004 Ocilla Road, Georgia.
We have an application from Ms. Ella Carvajal she filed for a rezoning application of 2 parcels at 202 and 204 Ocilla Road. As the city manager said, it's right now categorized as legal non-conforming. The reason of that is because there has been business operating at this location since 2007. That was prior to our adopting our Unified Land Development Code, and that continued. So the thing that staff and the Carvajals would like to do is properly rezone this from general commercial to M1, which is light industrial. That will allow for the type business that they're producing at that location. So tonight would be the first reading. The second reading and public hearing would be January 13th.
Mr. Taylor,
Move forward.
move forward. Ms. McNeil,
Carry it forward.
Mr. Moore,
Forward.
Mayor Pro Tem. Mr. Paul.
Carry forward.
Mr. Bailey,
Carry it forward.
thank you. Next item.
All right, next item's item 5, found on page 50, discuss and award to Harper and Company Builders Incorporated for Roundtree Park Project Bid B, improving neighborhood outcomes in the disproportionately impacted communities grant. Georgia?
All right, this is one of our grants, and we received bids. We received one bid on bid B on this project for the new bathroom, dugouts, playground equipment, sidewalk improvement. So we're here tonight to recommend that you award the bid in the amount of $537,400 to Harper and Company Builders.
Mr. Taylor,
Consent.
Ms. McNeil,
I abstain, Mayor, due to this being my brother-in-law's company. He's
Good
an
deal.
officer in this company, so.
Good deal.
okay.
Consent.
consent. Mr. Mayor Pro Tem,
Consent.
Mr.
Consent.
And Mr. Bailey,
Consent.
since we have an issue, we have to actually carry that forward. So Commissioner McNeil can state her conflict of interest during the meeting, the regular meeting. Next item.
All right, next item's item 6, found on page 85, discuss an award to PSG Energy Services LLC for the Huckabee Complex Project Bid C, improving neighborhood outcomes in disproportionately impacted communities. Georgia?
For the Huckabee Complex, this was the lighting project. We received 2 bids. The low bidder was PSC Energy Services, so we're here tonight to recommend that you accept that bid of $267,941.91.
Mr. Taylor?
Consent.
Mr. McNeil?
Consent.
Commissioner Moore?
Consent.
Consent.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Oh, sorry.
Mr. Paul?
Consent.
Mr. Bailey?
Consent.
Thank you. Next item.
All right, next item is item 7, found on page 131. Discuss and seek approval to recommit funds to the Equity Fund Rural Workforce Housing Initiative and Small Builders Incentive. If you read the background on this, we had, through the Economic Development Authority, we had petitioned the state for a grant to build a project that would have been located off of Chester and Wheeler Avenue area behind the Assembly of God. Due to some time constraints, the grant was not going to be able to be fulfilled, and so we've had to cancel that grant, and there will be another grant being applied for to be a housing development off of Iron Road in Mingledorf over kind of by the sewer plant area. And so I'm asking the mayor and council to consider and allow us to reappropriate the funds for the water and sewer that we was going to apply to one grant to apply to this grant, and also talking about housing. We've included in this agenda item to allow for small builders, to encourage small builders to keep building houses. We're seeking to refund any water, sewer, and piping expenses up to the actual cost of $3,500 per property once somebody builds the house and it's up for sale, or if it's a rental property, it's turned into an apartment complex, to encourage big and small building going in our community, and to Commissioner Moore's point there, to encourage more building.
So, Mayor Pro Tem is going to have to take over on this one. As everyone knows, I'm also a licensed contractor, so I do build houses. So there is a potential that I could apply for this. So, Mayor Pro Tem, I'm going to step out. Okay.
And I'm looking at the plat, y'all, can we get a little specific here? I'm looking at Iron Road and Mingledorf. Is this,
Right across the overpass.
okay?
Yeah.
All right, right there, next to the existing apartment complex, Estes
Yep.
Park?
Yeah.
Behind it, yeah, right behind it, yeah.
Okay. Mr. Taylor, got any comments?
Only comment that I have, and maybe I could get a better understanding, is the location, because we have other areas that we can develop complex and all, but just the location, maybe you can enlighten me a little bit more on this, Charlie. The individuals that are interested in it, have they looked at any other site besides that site, you know?
I mean, I can't comment on it. I mean, I don't know if they have. It's just wherever property is available to buy and build or whatever, and where water and sewer is located. And that's one of the largest tracts of property that has access to water and sewer there. And so that's.
Because when I said I had in mind, you know, biz everything moving south, you know, and all, I thought about the area on South Gaston. They got an opening field there, you know, and like I say, I don't think we're interested in just the water and sewer, right? You know.
I mean, that's our commitment to the project is water and sewer, right?
Okay, all right. Because me, myself, you know, that's bad area, you know, smell-wise, everybody know where it's at, you know. And, that's why I'm saying I don't know who the individuals that are interested in doing this, but I would recommend to look for another location, you know. But that's just me, you know, talking.
Yeah, I mean, y'all we're talking about these water and sewer extensions. I mean, like we,
Plus
you know,
the school out there too.
that's on them.
But it's good for parents.
Anything else, Mr. Taylor?
No, I'm good, I'm good.
Is this in your ward?
No, it's not my ward. It is,
Tell me, technically, this is outside the city limits. This is just us expanding our water and sewer
Okay, that's-
service.
That's what.
Yeah,
I
this
mean,
is a
I'm looking at
county
the map,
zoning,
okay.
yeah, this is
Not
county
in our-
zoning, but it's
Okay.
right next to it.
that's, oh.
And so, as I'm looking at it, the plat, there's, I don't see a compass on this. Well, I guess the the west side is on Mingledorf, and the south side of this property is on Iron Road?
Yes.
Gotcha. Ms. McNeil, do you have any questions or comments?
I don't,
Ms. Moore?
I'm fine with it.
If it's the area that I've used to ride by and couldn't stand, I wouldn't want to build nothing that nobody have to live if they don't have to. It's horrible, on a regular basis.
About the smell?
Yes.
How are we doing on that, Charlie, with the,
Yeah, I mean,
with the sewage treatment plant?
I mean, we don't-
It has been improving, hasn't it?
Well, I mean, unless we have an industry upset, I mean, because we just downstream from any industrial issues, and since the issue back during the summer, I mean, we haven't had any issues over there, but.
Mr. Paul?
So, only thing we're voting on and discussing on is to pay them back up to $3,500.
Well, so there's two parts to this. The one part is the recommitting the funds that we have from one grant to another grant, and that's the 200-something thousand. And then the other part of this to encourage building, any builder anywhere in the city of Douglas that build houses or apartment complex upon a successful building and selling of it, they can apply for us to get a refund up to $3,500 for any materials they put in on the water, sewer, and driveway piping to encourage building.
That's good.
Yeah, so this is just basically discussing the grant. This has nothing to do with approving or denying whether someone built on this property.
No, this is just water and sewer and refunding.
Okay.
And going back to some of the concerns, I guess, we did like this project, we could still continue to apply in the future for
Yeah.
other such projects to continue to address the housing.
Right.
Gotcha. And this would kind of get the ball rolling though, on this, right? This is a new grant?
Yeah, the grant that we applied for on the other one and on this one is a new grant that the governor started in order to address housing issues. Because one of the biggest hindrance to subdivision development is the cost of roads, water, and sewer. And if you roll that into the cost of a house, it then gets away from some of the workforce development and affordable type housing. And so they put these funds out there to apply for it, so it helps developers. Because developers going to make the same amount of money, it's just what class of customer gets that house. And so if you have to have a higher cost house, the affordable workforce type people won't be able to afford it, or if they do, they're going to be stretched thin on other things. And so all these are measures to help the
So
affordable.
this is a relatively new grant program, right?
Through-
This is
through
not something
DCA,
we've been
yes.
Involved with before?
Okay.
No, this is.
Yeah. Mr. Bailey, I'm sorry, did you have anything?
No,
else?
I'm all for it.
So
And I don't know if at this point, I see there's a plat, how many thousand square feet are these? Is this R12?
Well, this is in the county. They have what they call an
Oh,
R4.
okay.
So yeah, so.
So we're not gonna get into that part because right now.
Right.
it's
Just in general speaking, I think they're gonna do about 60 houses with the plans to build 20 or 30 more in there, but the grant itself is around 62, I think, or 64, but with plans to expand it.
All right, where does annexation come into the discussion? Is that, if we're gonna provide the services with?
Well, I mean, on our electric, gas, and water and sewer, we're outside the city jurisdiction. Just like gas, we serve in 3 counties, electric, we're outside. So, I mean, it has, they can annex in if they want to petition, annex in, but this is just water and sewer discussion here.
All right, so we would agree as part of it to provide those services and put in that infrastructure for this proposed neighborhood, right?
Right.
All right, but it would not be there's no.
There's no contingency,
That would be
you have to
all
do this or
services
you
the
have to
city would
do this.
provide because it's outside the city
Right,
limits.
yeah.
Okay. Y'all, any other questions or comments on it, y'all?
No,
It's clear, you made it clear.
I'm good with it.
So does that, everybody have consent on that?
we have to
Okay.
carry forward. Oh,
Now
Yep,
that you clarified it, yes.
I guess do we have to carry?
Yeah, we have to carry forward.
Yeah, without the mayor, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, because the mayor, yeah, I'm sorry, the mayor, yeah.
Forward.
They can take forward.
So where's the mayor?
He went that way.
He may be back through that door, and I'll check to see if it's this.
Everything else is on the agenda, so it just, one more, don't hurt.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was the clarity. That makes sense. When you break it down and explain it.
I just wanna stay out this.
I ain't gonna have that either, don't you start. Either. Feel the edge.
Mr. City Manager, next agenda item.
Next item is item 8, found on page 138, discuss and seek approval of the LMIG 25 paving project. As every year in January, in December, we bring you the next list of streets that's being paved that we have to apply to the state for by February 1st. And so this will be approximately $251,576.74 of worth of paving. And the next streets on the list is Thrash Circle, Perrin Drive, Lakeview Avenue, Radcliffe Avenue, Kirkland Lane, Hillside Drive, South Elk Street, Bojoella Drive, and Preston Drive. And Commissioner Moore, just for your knowledge, we use a program called Robotics. They ride the entire streets. They measure every street in 20-foot increments. They measure the condition of the street, and then those streets then get ranked based on 20-foot increments. And we have a 25-year paving list. And through LMIGs and some T-Splosh stuff, we try to get every street paved at least once in a 25-year period. And these are the next streets that are up on the list.
Good deal.
Okay.
Mr. Bailey,
Consent.
Mr. Paul,
Consent.
Mayor Pro Tem,
Consent.
Commissioner Moore,
Consent.
Mr. Taylor.
Consent.
Thank you. Next item.
All right, next item is item 9, found on page 142. Bringing a proposal to you tonight to consider, Mayor and Council consider a 50% buyback on unused vacation time for employees. As you know, throughout the year, sometime, some employees are on 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 week accruals. Sometimes it's impossible for some of the employees to take their vacation. We want employees to take their time off, to recharge their batteries and get focused, but sometimes it's impossible. So we have a proposal for you tonight to offer a 50% buyback for any unused vacation time up to 4 weeks or 160 hours worth. And so we're asking y'all to consider that.
Well, I think that, like what the city manager said, we talked about this, we've actually talked about this in length for a few months. And of course, we do want the city employees to take time off, recharge their batteries, go on vacation. Sometimes, our city employees, don't get the opportunity, to take that vacation because of their mission. I think during the hurricane, everybody was deemed essential. During COVID, everybody deemed essential. May not have been doing the job in their job description, but they were doing something. So the thing is, I think that at least those employees don't lose all of their leave. They can at least get 50% of it back. And based off of my research, that's normally the fair market rate. So I would suggest that we put that on the consent. Commissioner Moore,
Consent.
Commissioner McNeil,
Consent.
Mr. Taylor.
Mayor, I'd like to see it go up a little bit more.
I mean, the budget is 50.
We just take some baby steps.
You got good employees.
Yes, sir, we
Still
sure
get
do.
the best.
We sure do.
Consent.
Consent. Mayor Pro Tem.
Well, I'm kind of like Mr. Taylor, I would, subject to it going up a little bit. I mean, I can tell you, I told Mr. Davis this, you know, we passed a measure with the state employees, which I know they got, I think, a bigger budget to work with, but they're reimbursing us 100%. You know, you can cash that in.
But normally when it's 100%, because Social Security has 100%, you only get to do that once.
Yeah. The state
This-
has made it where if you have so many hours, if you're above the minimum threshold, you know, so it wouldn't apply to all employees. But
Okay.
we're talking about, I guess, for everybody. I guess that's, you know, I'm okay with 50%, you know, but I wouldn't object to it being higher either.
Okay, well, we have to look at the numbers. We're getting ready to have a retreat.
But I'm definitely, you know, definitely in favor of it.
I consent.
Mr. Bailey,
Consent.
consent? That's on the consent. Next agenda item?
All right, next item is item 10, found on page 143. Discuss and seek approval of the resolution to support the formation and participation in the South Georgia Energy Authority. As most of y'all that's been on here for a while, we've been working on this project for about 8 years to bring more natural gas to South Georgia. We now have the capital politics lined up, the local, not referendum, but resolution that will be passed at the state. We met with the cities of Sylvester, Ashburn, Tifton, Fitzgerald, and of course Douglas was there. And in order for the state to be able to work with us and supply money, some of the money's through GFA to support the natural gas and other energy projects, we have to form this authority. And this resolution here is just a resolution to support the formation of it. Doesn't put any financial liability on this, because once the authority is stood up, then we'll have to work on projects, and then there'll be some bonding, GFA loans, and maybe some guarantees on it. But this just gives us a tool and toolbox to start that conversation by forming this authority. And so this is a resolution just supporting it.
So, did you mention Ocilla?
I think so.
Yeah,
It's
Ocilla
one
was
of them,
there.
yeah.
So basically, the city of Douglas, we come out of a lateral out of Albany,
Yes, sir.
come out of lateral out of Albany. So, Southern Natural owns the pipe, correct?
Yes, sir.
And we own space in there. Well, right now, it is at a point where we have to require more gas. And the pipe may not necessarily be large enough for more gas. I think the pipe was built in what, the 60s?
Part of 1959 of it, and then other parts were through 1962.
Right. So basically, it's supposed to be able to withstand like 1,200 PSI, but they only run about 900. So the thing is, with this authority, the city manager said, it's just the formation of something. There's no money or anything like that. What we feel as though the formation of this, I give you an example. So let's say that the city of Douglas and all the cities that were mentioned decide that they are going to build a pipeline. It'll cost a municipality about 15 million. If Southern Natural done it, it'll be about 32 million. Primarily because the government has access to different types of loans and grants, SPLOSH, T-SPLOSH, all those other things. So is there an immediate need now? Probably not. But in the morning, if we got a call about a company coming here and they needed a lot of gas, then we would have a problem. We're just trying to get in front of this in due time. And we think that after 8 years, finally getting the okay for the formation is a right step to help us out. Mr. Taylor?
I don't have no problem with consent.
Consent. Ms. McNeil?
Yes, sir, I'm in favor. Consent.
Ms. Moore?
Consent.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Consent.
Mr. Paul?
Consent.
Mr. Bailey?
Consent.
Thank you. Next item?
All right, next item is item 11 found on page 147, discuss a meeting change date. We're asking Mayor and Council to consider moving the Monday, May 26th meeting to Tuesday, May 27th, and Monday, June 23rd to Thursday, June 26th. And these are all due with conflicts of conferences that most of us will be at. So we're just asking y'all to move those 2 dates, Monday, May 26th to May 27th, and the Monday to June 23rd to that Thursday, June 26th. That's be back when we'll be returning from GMA.
Mr. Bailey?
Consent.
No, see that, I said, Mr. Bailey, you jumped on in there. See that? Jumped on in there. Mr. Paul?
Consent.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Consent.
Commissioner Moore?
Consent.
Ms. McNeil?
Consent.
Mr. Taylor, your turn.
Consent.
Thank you.
Yeah, you changed mine.
Next item on the agenda.
We have no general comments, and then the only, I guess, city manager update would be that, we're closed for the next 2 days to celebrate the Christmas holiday.
Outstanding. All right. So what we're gonna do is I will end the work session. Does anybody have a problem going directly into the meeting? Mr. Taylor?
No, sir. Move forward.
Mr. Neal? Ms. Moore?
I'm good.
All right. Work session stands adjourned. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to the City of Douglas Mayor and Commission. This will serve as the regular meeting, December 23rd. Next item on the agenda is the invocation. Commissioner Paul.
Yes, we have the pleasure of having Miss Santana Bruton. She's a member of True Praise. You step to the podium.
Good evening,
Good
everybody. If y'all will bow your heads so we can have a short prayer. Lord, I first want to say thank you. Thank you for allowing us to see another day. Thank you for continuously keeping us and covering us. Tonight as they start their meeting, I ask that you watch over the meeting. I ask that you keep them. I ask that they be able to speak on anything they need to speak on, and if they can come into agreement, that they all will have understanding. Lord, I ask that you continue to watch over our city officials, and I ask that you continue to watch over our community. I ask that you continue to keep them and push them, and for they all can come together and do what's needed at the City of Douglas. In your Jesus' name I pray. Amen, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Now, was that so hard to say, hey, I come up here to bring invitations? Was that so hard?
All right, thank you.
I don't think that was that hard. Simple question. At this time, next item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would, please stand, face the flag, and I'll lead you through it. Down there in ROTC is on vacation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the order of the agenda.
So moved.
It's been
Second.
motion. Second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda item. As always, for transparency, we will have the city manager to read off those items that were placed on the consent agenda during the work session. Mr. City Manager?
Mayor and Council, we have 5 items coming over on the consent agenda, and I will read those off. The first item was item 6 from the work session. Approval of the award to PSG Energy Services LLC for the Huckabee Complex Project Bid C for the Improving Neighborhood Outcomes in the Disproportionately Impacted Communities Grant. Next was item 8, seek approval or approval of the LMIG 25 paving project list as presented. The next item was item 9, approval of the 50% on the dollar buyback of the unused employee vacation time up to 4 weeks or 160 hours. The next item was approval of the resolution to support the formation and participation in the South Georgia Energy Authority. And the last item was item 11, approval of the date changes to upcoming meetings in May and June.
At this time, I entertain a motion for the items on the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Next item is work session items brought forward for discussion. And Mr. City Manager, lead us through. I think we had a few.
All right, Mayor and Council, we have 6 items to be brought forward from the work session. The first was item 1, review of the December 12th, 2024 meeting minutes.
Commissioner Moore?
Consent. I'm good, I read and glanced, and I was,
You good?
yeah, I'm good.
All right. At this time, I entertain a motion to approve the December 12th, 2024 meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Next item?
All right, next is item 2 that was found on page 16. Hold a public hearing for lot size variance request for the vacant parcel located off of Old Bell Lake Road, Georgia.
In the absence of the city attorney, I'm going to open it up at this time for a public hearing. If there anyone have any comments relating to the variance for the property off of Old Bell Lake Road for parcel number 0117CO37 may come to the podium at this time. There being none, we'll close the public hearing. Back to the commission.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to make a motion that we deny the request for the lot size variance.
Second.
It's been motioned and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed?
Dissent. Dissent.
Take dissent? Okay.
Dissent.
So that's a 4-2. Motion carries. Next item?
All right, next item is item 3, found on page 23. Conduct a second reading and public hearing to amend the local ordinance regarding the position of city marshal and code enforcement division for the city of Douglas, Georgia.
All right, well, this will be the first reading of the ordinance, an ordinance to repeal the City of Douglas Code of Ordinances, Subpart A, Chapter 2, Article 3, Division 6, Section 2, 183, and Chapter 10, Article 2, Section 1036, and to amend and delete any references to city marshal or marshal's office and replace with code enforcement division and/or code enforcement supervisor and/or community development director, Chapter 4, Article 1, Section 4.4, Chapter 10, Article 2, Section 1043 and 1047, Chapter 10, Article 5, Division 1, Section 10-146, Chapter 10, Article, 9? Division and Division 1, Section 16-256 and Subpart B, Chapter 103, Article 4, Section 103-124, and all ordinances and conflicts herewith, and to provide for an effective date and other purposes. Be ordained by the Mayor and City Commission of the City of Douglas in a regular meeting assembled and pursuant to the lawful authority thereof. Ordinances amended to delete any references of city marshal and marshal's office and to replace with code enforcement division and/or code enforcement supervisor and/or community development director as amended as followed. Offered and read for the first meeting, for the first time at a regular meeting on the Mayor and Commission, City of Douglas, Georgia, held on December the 12th. No, that's not right, I'm sorry. It's tonight, December the 23rd, and the second reading will come, I'm sorry, that is correct. The only reading tonight is December 23rd.
Correct.
Let me back up on that.
Second reading.
The second reading.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry, that was a variant. So the second reading, I'm sorry, on the code enforcement, the first reading was December the 12th, read for the second time and passed and ordained at a regular meeting, the Mayor and Commission, after properly advertising and caption as required under the chapter of the City of Douglas on December 23rd, 2024. Sorry about that.
All right. Public hearing.
Okay, at this time, we will conduct the public hearing because this is the second reading. So again, if there's anyone have any comments or questions that they would like to address before the commission regarding the changes with the city marshal to code enforcement division, may come to the podium at this time. There being none, it's back to the commission.
At this time, I entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
It's been motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Next item?
All right, next item is item 4 that was found on page 29. This is a first reading tonight. The second reading will be on January 13th. This is the first reading of the rezoning petition for 2002 and 2004 Ocilla Road. Ms. Henderson?
All right, an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance of the city of Douglas, Georgia, changing the zoning for certain property in the city of Douglas, Georgia, located at 202 Ocilla Road and 204 Ocilla Road from general commercial to M1 light industrial. Be it ordained by the mayor and board of commission of the city of Douglas, Georgia, is hereby ordained by the authority of the same, and from and after the passage of this ordinance, both the Unified Land Development Code of the city of Douglas, Georgia, adopted by the mayor and commission, the mayor and board of commissioners of the said city of Douglas on February 28, 2011, as amended, and the comprehensive plan of the city of Douglas, adopted by the mayor and board of commission of the city of Douglas, Georgia, on October the 8th, 2007, as amended, and it stands as follows. Offered and read for the first time at a regular meeting by the city of Douglas, Georgia, on December the 23rd, and will be read for the second time and passed at the regular meeting of the city of Douglas after properly advertising the caption as required under the charter of the city of Douglas on January 13, 2025. There's no public hearing tonight. That'll be at the next meeting.
Next item?
All right, the next item is item 5, found on page 50. Discuss the award to Harper and Company Builders Incorporated for the Roundtree Park Project Bid B, improving neighborhood outcomes in the disproportionately impacted communities grant. Ms. Henderson?
Here tonight to recommend that you accept the low bid from Harper and Builders in the amount of $537,400 for the Roundtree B bid package.
Commissioner McNeil?
Yes, sir. Mayor, I'm going to need to abstain from this. I have a family member in that, in the Harper Company Builders.
Good deal.
ownership.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, I entertain a motion.
Second.
It's been motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next item?
All right, the next item is item 7, found on page 131. Discuss and seek approval to recommit funds to the Equity Fund Rural Workforce Housing Initiative and incentives for the smaller builders. This item is item 7, found on page 131.
Okay. There's a potential, since I am a licensed contractor, that I may apply for this. So at this time, I'm going to step out and turn the meeting over to our Mayor Pro Tem. Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem, as discussed in the work session, this is a 2-part building incentive. As stated earlier, we had committed funds to one grant that we've had to rescind that grant due to timetables not being met. We're through the EDA, we're reapplying for another grant that will be for a housing development. They're located on Mingledorf and Iron Road. So we're asking Mayor and Council to recommit the water and sewer funds that we had in the other grant to this grant, which is approximately $236,732. And the second part of this is to authorize us for a 3-year period to refund up to $3,500 of actual costs that builders spent with the city of Douglas on water, sewer, and driveway piping for once houses have been built and sold or built and rented as a commercial operation. We're asking for Mayor and Council to consider these 2 housing incentives.
Okay. And the staff recommendation is for Mayor and Council to approve to recommit the funds to the Equity Fund Rural Workforce Housing Initiative Grant in the amount of $236,732 and implement small bidder incentive. We have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And those are all the items from the work session.
Thank you. Mr. City Manager, are there any other items?
There are no other items, sir, and there's no staff comments.
And no staff comments. At this time, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. It's been motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. We stand adjourned.